Again, here's a demo for exercise 6-1 at the back of chapter 6. We're going to enhance the Town Hall homepage. Now this is building off of exercise 5-1. I didn't demo that, but hopefully you did have a chance to look at that in the last section. But if not, you can always go into your folder and get the solution files for 5-1, and then you can just build off of that. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is take that page that, let's see if I'll open it up. I'll open up what it looked like for 5-1 so you can see. Basically the page looked like this. Everything was straight in flow, all in one line, if you will. And 6-1 is going to put it into two columns, like this image right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this. So starting with that, you need to have the index and the main.css open. So I have both of these from chapter 5. Number 2, it says in the main element of the HTML file, you're going to enclose the H2 elements and the elements that follow them up to the H1 element in a section element. Alright, so what that is saying is here, so I've got the solution for 5-1, and you'll see that you've got your header right here, open, closing header, and then you've got your main right here, goes all the way down, and then a footer, and then you close out the body. So what we want to do is wrap some of these items in here. Instead of being main, we're going to divide this up a little bit, and we'll have a section element, and then later on you'll see we'll have an aside element. So it's saying to enclose the H2 element, so from here all the way down to, said right before the H1, so all the way down to here, you're going to wrap that in a section element. I'll show you what that's going to look like in a minute. And then the next thing you want to do is the remaining content in the main folder, so from H1 down to here, you're going to wrap that in the aside element tag. Alright, and then also in number 3 here, it says to shorten the H1 right here to just be guest speakers, and then you're going to change this H1 tag to be an H2 element now that it's inside an aside. Alright, so what that's going to look like is, I'll go over here to this one. You're going to have your section right here, this whole part, and then you've got your aside. We've changed this to guest speakers and then wrapped it in an H2 instead of an H1. Alright, number 4, still in this HTML file, you're going to add the heading and the image for the 4th speaker. So you should have left off with Amy Chua. She would have been your last one. So you want to copy this and then paste it down here. Right now you don't have, or the 4th speaker, you'll be able to see who that is right here, Scott Sampson in February. So go ahead and complete that as the rest are. Number 5, in the CSS file, you're going to enhance the style rule for the body so that the width is 800 pixels. So let's go into the CSS. Here is the body. You want to style the width so it's 800 pixels. And then you want to set the width of the section to 525. So you're going to need to create a section because we didn't have that before. So create a section style rule, set the width to 525, float it to the right, and the width of the aside, which I think is down here, there it is. So again, you're going to create this. The width is 215 and float to the right. You're going to use the clear property in the footer to clear the floating, so you're going to clear both. And then the last thing in item number 5 is you're going to delete the style rule for the H1 heading. So you should have seen H1 up in here, and you're going to delete that out. Alright, and then test it. So the column should start to be taking shape at this point. You're going to make it look better, so you're going to delete the left and right padding for the main element. I'm going to go back to the solution for 5 so you can see where those are. Okay, so in the main element, you're going to delete the left and the right padding. So you've got this padding right here. You want to get rid of that. And let's see, where are we? Set the left and bottom padding for the aside to 20 pixels. Let's go back over to our CSS. So back to the aside. You're going to set the left and right. Is that what it said? Number 6. Yes, the left and bottom padding for the aside to 20 pixels. So right here. So let's talk about padding. So these 4 numbers here. Just think of a clock. So starting up at 12 o'clock and then going around clockwise to 3 o'clock, then down to 6, over to 9, back up to 12. So this first number is your top, second number is your right, third is your bottom, and the fourth is your left. So top, right, bottom, left. So when it says here to set the left and the bottom padding for the aside, so top, right, left, or bottom, left, there you go, 20 pixels. Then it says to change the right and left padding for the section. I think that's back up here. There we go. So here's our padding. So we have the right and left padding for the section to 20 and the bottom for 20. So everything but the top. So that's why the top is 0 and then the right, bottom, and left are 20. Then go ahead and test that again. And then number 7, to make the CSS easier to read, change the selectors for the main element so they refer to the section or aside elements as appropriate, and reorganize these style rules. Okay, so up to this point, what you've had on your styles, let me go back to the other one, is main, because remember we created the section and the aside. So you want to go through and organize this so that it makes sense. So the finished product will have put in a comment to say these are the styles for the main content. So then you have main, the overall package, then you've got your section right in here, and you'll look at your HTML to determine which ones of these make sense. And then you have another comment, the styles for the article, styles for the aside. So you're basically just kind of cleaning it up. Styles for the footer. On your CSS, you want to use these comments so that you can like section out where different things are. It is way easier to find things when you need to if you do that. Alright, and then be sure to include a style rule for the H2 headings in both the section and the aside. So here's your aside. And your section H2 is right here. Okay, and then test it, make sure everything's looking good. And then number 8, add a style rule for the H3 element in the aside. So here's my H3 element. Set the font size to 105 and the bottom padding to 0.25 em. There you go, and then add a style rule for the image elements in the aside. So you can add this one so it has a bottom padding set to 1 em. And then it should look good. Doesn't include the speaker of the month content yet, but we'll get to that when we move forward. So it should look something like, I need to click back on my index page, do the live preview, it will open up, and you should see something similar to this. All right, see you in the next one.